What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. Still got to talk about one more MVP candidate, Josh Allen. Josh Allen, who has maybe, if I'm not mistaken, the best touchdown to interception ratio in playoff history, still don't have a ring. Nor does he have a league MVP. These are two important things because he's got a lot to prove. And his case for the MVP is a big one. Now, by the numbers, just the statistics, folks are going to point to the fact that Lamar Jackson's got the yards, he's got the touchdowns, that his numbers just overall, less interceptions. He looks like the better quarterback on paper. And there's some truth to that in terms of the performance. But Josh Allen's biggest case for league MVP is these playoffs. Even though it's a regular season award, my eyes will be glued to see what happens. They've got the home field until they possibly have to play the Kansas City Chiefs if that game happens. And if Kansas City loses, then they've got the home field throughout. That's huge. Buffalo was undefeated at home. Yeah, they lost 4 games this year, but you got to realize those 4 games, one at Baltimore, which was also a feather under Lamar Jackson's cap, that he beat Josh Allen this year. But it was in Baltimore. Again, we can't ignore the fact that Baltimore has Derrick Henry, who has put up MVP numbers this year himself. If he had as many carries as Saquon Barkley, he'd be at 2,000 yards this year. Same average yards per carry. He rushed for over 1,900 yards. King Henry is a significant piece. And Baltimore was the number 1 seed in the playoffs last year for the AFC. They were expected to be number 1 seed or at least number 2 seed coming into this season. So for the Bills, who were expected to fall off, maybe not even make the playoffs, but if they get in as a wild card, get in at like a 4 or, well, not a 4, maybe like a 5 or 6 seed, because they weren't expected to necessarily win their division. They won the division again. That's because of Josh Allen. Josh Allen, his big game moments have been huge. Beating Detroit and beating Kansas City is no slouch games there. Those are big time wins. And again, all his losses in the regular season were on the road. At home, he takes care of business, which brings me back to the playoffs. To me, we can toss this up to whoever wins or goes further in the playoffs as your league MVP, because I think it's really coming down to Lamar and Josh. And truthfully, I am rooting so hard that Lamar and Josh take care of business in this first round, because Buffalo versus Baltimore is the game we all need. And that's for the MVP, if you ask me. So let's see what happens. I think Josh Allen's going to get it, and not just because, regardless of if they win against Baltimore, if they play in the playoffs, I think he's just going to get it. I know people say it's the narrative that just get Josh one because he hasn't had one. But he truly has played worthy of one. He's been more responsible for his team being where they are and playing above expectations than Lamar has been for a team that had the expectations of what he's doing, and they didn't quite play up to expectations as a team. Some key losses to the Raiders and Cleveland that just shouldn't have happened with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on that team and Harbaugh coaching. So these are things that are going to come into consideration. Josh Allen's huge wins against Kansas City and Detroit, I think, are going to factor in. And the fact that his team was supposed to take a step back with players that he lost, and he had the best year of his career this year with his touchdowns. Running the ball, his running touchdowns, and his throwing touchdowns. Josh is an animal, and now we're going to see in the playoffs just who the real MVP is. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.